Hey guys, it is Amy, the Relocated Tourist, coming to you live once again from my office. It is January 19th, 2020, although you'll be seeing this tomorrow, January 20th, 2020. Must be a thing. It's gotta be. I'll remember when I started this, 2020. So today is the start of Moving Mondays. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that I have redone this video about 300 times now because I feel a little bit of pressure anxiety doing this because this is literally where the relocated tourist began. Yes, I have nature's nectar with me. And the reason that I have this with me is because for some reason I carry a lot of anxiety about this topic and I want to get it right for you guys because it's literally my roots. People make fun of me all the time. I think in my head it's spelled R-U-T-Z really, but it's R-O-O-T-S. Roots. Anyway, cheers. So today we are talking about the reason, and the reason is the absolute most important part of moving to Florida. Why is it important? Well, because obviously you need one to move here because people are going to ask you all the time, why are you moving here? Because I know I get it all the time. Number two, you want something to feel good about on why you're leaving your area. Your family and friends are going to want to know. Your job obviously is going to want to know, all that good stuff. So the reason is the most important part of your start of this amazing adventure that is moving to Florida. And again, it is what you make of it. Because I'm going to tell you the pros, the cons, the ick, the yuck. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I am also a realist. I don't like it when people tell me that dress looks fabulous on you and then I get 55 pictures taken at Disney World in it and I look absolutely horrendous. And I'm like, why didn't someone just tell me? So I'm that person. I'm going to tell you how it is. I will tell you the good and the bad and the ugly because I want you to make not only an informative decision to move to Florida, but I want you to be proud and happy with your decision and not feel like you were duped, you didn't know this was going to happen, all that stuff. So I am here for every Monday until as long as I have information to give you basically not only my story of why we moved here to Florida, my experiences while living in Florida, but also the information and the tools to give you to move to Florida. I also have originated the blog, The Relocated Tourist. Right now it's .wordpress.com, working on that. You can head on over there and everything of our stories, of what we've been through, the good, the bad, the ugly, again, is all on there. So I thought it would be fun is kind of to take a blog post every Monday and read it out loud to you guys to just kind of go over what I was feeling back in 2010. The idea originated back in 2009. My husband and I were walking around in Appleton, Wisconsin. Go Pack, go. And we just had a real conversation like a lot of people do. One second. Which is, do we want to stay with our life that was pretty normal, pretty tame, pretty, it was pretty? Or do we want to find some adventure? Do we want to go and a whole new world, as Aladdin says, and figure out what we could do with this gift called life? And so we had this conversation, which is literally our tagline on the blog, which is going from what if to why not. And we just had that very genuine conversation of, well, what if we moved to Florida? Like, what if we just left our family, our friends, everything we know? What if we just left it all, took a giant leap, and did this humongous fresh chapter in our lives? What if we tried it? And I remember looking at him and literally saying, but why not? What is holding us here? Now, I want to pause the button on this because I know the people who love me in my life who were in that time period back in Appleton are going to watch this and think, what, I wasn't good enough to stick around for. That is incorrect, and you know it. What that means is that I loved my church. I loved Emily's and Kira's schools. I loved my town, my city. I loved everything about it. The thing is that it was a normal day-to-day pace and it was getting mundane. And we had always, Craig and I both had just loved Disney. I've loved it ever since I was a child. And I thought, it would be so nice to be able to do things after work on the weekends, have all these other opportunities to do things in and around Florida that we just don't have in Wisconsin. And at every vacation when we came, there just wasn't enough time to do everything. You all know what I'm talking about, where you come and you're like, I didn't get to do this or that. And even when you come once a year, you all know there's no way to get everything fit in that 1 week. And that's if you get a week. Some people only get 2-3 days. So we just decided, hey, you know what? So the decision was made in 2009. Now, the blog is a whole other story. When Craig started obtaining all this information from everywhere, he was on the internet and he was literally looking for moving blogs, and nobody was really talking real about moving to Florida. You'll find like factual sites that will give you like, this is how you do it, and here's a fact, and kind of almost like a Google type thing. We were looking for the nitty gritty from people. We wanted to know, okay, so how was it moving there? Like, how hard was it? Like, how were the schools? How was it looking for work? How was it the grocery stores versus the doctors versus the dentist? We wanted to know all the stuff that we normally just literally probably took for granted in Appleton. And so we just couldn't find it anywhere. And I'm not sitting here like patting myself on the back of, yay, we were the first ones, but we couldn't find anyone else that were being sincerely nitty gritty about it as much as we wound up being about it. So I'm very proud of that, because I wanted to tell people, listen, this is the reality. This is what my fantasy was in my head, and this is the reality of what happened. So I really hope you guys enjoy these Mondays, because I'm going to take you through absolutely the fun and the positive and the pros and the amazing things I have done here. And I'm also going to take you through the nitty gritty, because I want to be real, I want to be truthful, and I definitely want to open that door for everyone that is looking forward to moving here and saying, okay, it's a wonderful idea. I support you. I'm like, want to be the mother to you in this adventure of, hey, that's a great idea. I'm glad you thought of it. I'm 100% supportive of it. But let me just tell you that all these steps here have to be obtained for you to enjoy that part. And even when you get to that part, it's going to be a little harder than you think. But if you hold on real tight, the ride is worth it. So today I wanted to start with the reasons. What are the reasons of basically moving to Florida? We all have them. Our reason, as I've said, it was that we really wanted to be able to just change up life, change up the whole just mundaneness of it, and just kind of inject a little fun in it. Does that make sense? Like I loved, don't get me wrong, but I had done the Milwaukee Zoo Museum, everything Milwaukee I've done probably 10 times over, and that was like the big city next to us. I've done everything in Green Bay, I've done everything in Appleton, I've done everything in Madison. I have owned a camping resort, I have camped at a camping resort. I have done pretty much what you can basically wring out of Wisconsin, as much as I feel that I want to do, and with my family and obviously friends and everything else. So I just really kind of wanted to inject my life with some fun, with just a little bit of fun and passion of something that I just felt was missing. And so that's basically how we decided on what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it. And by the way, getting back to that, I know I forgot. So Craig took all the information that we had been obtaining for months upon months, because this decision was made about the summer 2009. The blog was born in February of 2010. And we basically had all this information. So he was my IT guy, my information guy. I was the emotional side of it, the writer side of it, the picture side of it, and we kind of just made a really good yin-yang of the blog. And so the Relocated Tourist was actually a very family event in our lives, a very family-orientated blog, I guess you want to say. I don't know what I'm trying to look for, brand, whatever you want to call it. It was very much the family back then. And so let's go to the blog. So the blog was started, I actually have it literally from me, the very first post, and it was written on February 26th, 2010. So what I thought would be fun is for me to read one of my old blog posts to you guys, because I haven't read these ahead of time. I think they're kind of fun to read. I haven't read them since I've been working on the book way back when. So this one's short and sweet, so I'm sure it's fine, but it's always fun to see what I thought of. And I honestly want you guys to be able to hear what I felt in 2010, because I wrote about the reality of living near the fantasy about 8 months ago. You guys can catch that also on the blog. And I know a lot of people thought, well, she seems so slighted, or she seems angry, or whatever. No, it's just that things evolve and change. And so when you move, here and you move. It's just things, how you feel about things. They're constantly evolving. So let me read this one to you because it looks good. It's short. So anyway, the vlog started with our long journey begins. And like I said, February 26th, 2010. And this was written at the Osthoff Resort in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin at a women's retreat that I was there with my church. And I remember writing this, and a friend came in and she said, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm actually writing my first blog post. I'm super nervous. I don't know if anyone's gonna like it, but I'm just gonna write about this. And I'm gonna write about my family's adventures in this, and hopefully they'll like it." So literally it was posted there. So anyway, the post goes, "Well, our long journey has begun. While it may be almost 2 years away," which actually it was only one at that point, "there are a great deal of things that we will be doing in the coming months to plan and prepare for our move. We have a family vacation to Walt Disney World sprinkled in there, and I'm sure a few weekend research trips are on the agenda as well." And we all know about our research trips, right? "In the next few months, we're going to try to talk about what is it that we love about Disney. As the time draws closer, we will talk more about our plans for our relocation, some of the steps that we need to take, the bumps along the road, and all the excitement." And there was lots of excitement. "Once we made our relocation, we will introduce many new features to our website that we are planning and excited about as well," which we did. "Our family would again like to thank you ahead of time for following us on our journey and for all the advice that many of you have already given. We have been talking about moving to Orlando for many, many years, and it's exciting to actually be planning it for real," which it was. So basically today's vlog. See, I'm already in the blog world, now I gotta hop out back into the YouTube vlog world. Basically what I'm trying to get across is that the reason is the most important part of starting your entire adventure of moving to Florida. I wrote down actually a couple of reasons why people do it, and you guys can kind of nod your head if you associate yourself with any of these. I wrote down no state income tax, warm weather, you're coming for a new job, it's a dream of yours, you're coming for family, new opportunities, Disney, there's more to do in Florida, you're sick of where you're living, you're looking for a new life, and basically I think that's it. And then there's like bigger things you move for sometimes, the unfortunate stuff like if there's divorce or grief or anything like that you just kind of have to get out of Dodge and find a new life. And I agree with that as well. So I am pretty much all of those except job. We were very fortunate that Craig was able to bring his job with him to Florida. So we were only in Kier wound up looking for work here, but that was it. The rest of us, I planned on doing something with the brand always. I just didn't know what I wanted to do with it. And Craig works from home, so that was never an issue. So that's the only thing that I really can only help you with as far as Kira's quest for her job here. Other than that, everything else has been us. Everything from opportunities to Disney to, so the reasons alone I could do a series for, and I don't know how to really break this down for you guys because the reasons are actually really important. Because I know just so many people, including myself, who certain reasons that you come for. Let's just start with Disney. Let's just toast to the mouse right away and get this over with. Because it's a good reason to come here for. But this is that reality part I was telling you guys about. So let me just get started. Let me get prepared. Okay. So back in 2009 we decided this, but 2010 really when the blog started. I was geeked out about Disney. I still am. I love Mickey to death. That being said, what I had is basically Mickey bars in my eyes. I can't even have stars in my eyes unless you say they're twinkling. You get this impression basically that when you live here that you will be able to run to Disney whenever you want, and that is untrue. Not only it depends on what pass you hold, it depends on the time of year, it depends on the time of day, it depends on a lot of things. Now, many people who live very close to the parks, which I hope to be one of them in 5 short months here, is that you can do a hop, skip, and jump and you're there, and traffic isn't an issue, the time of day is an issue, but you still have to think about the time of year. And what am I talking about? Well, so Disney has these parties, which is Mickey's Not So Scary. You have, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. See, that's not good if I'm going to be blanking. Mickey's Not So Scary, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Now they have a Villains After Party. I think there's another after party. They have private events, whatever. So what my point being is that being annual pass holder and being a local, you might think you get in every night to, let's say, Magic Kingdom. You just can't, because there's parties that is happening unless you want to pay the extra to go to any of those, which is not cheap. You have to opt out for the nights that there aren't parties. And that's where all the tourists are coming from. They're going to go to that night as well. So let's say Tuesday and Friday are the only nights of the week that Magic Kingdom doesn't have a party. So everybody's there Tuesday and Friday, including your locals and including everybody on vacation. So it becomes a little bit crazier and busy than I thought it would be. And since getting here, we did move here in 2011. Since being here, it has definitely grown. It has grown not only in the area, but definitely the park crowd sizes have just grown. So you kind of get really picky about when you go in. So it's not as easy as, hey, I'm gonna go at 5 o'clock over the parks, because for my area currently, I'm in an area where there is 2 major highways that intersect. And so what happens is it's rush hour, and rush hour in this area is absolutely insane. So I just don't want to die going to the parks. So I just sit my butt down. And for anyone interested, I'm talking about 27 and 4. So I just don't like to leave the house to do anything between about 5 and 7 o'clock, maybe even 2, 3 o'clock. It starts to get really backed up over on, if I take a side road home, Old Lake Wilson Road gets really backed up. 27, Ronald Reagan, a lot of them get pretty backed up because if 4 has any type of traffic issue, everybody gets clogged up. So that thinking of moving here for the parks, and that's the biggest reason you have, it's not a bad one. It's an excellent one, okay? But I just want you to have the reality of, you know, okay, so you can't go to Magic Kingdom on Tuesday night, then you can go to Epcot. Now realize that if they're having a party Tuesday night, everyone else is also going to go. So avoid the ones that have any extra magic hours, basically, is my tip. Go to the parks that just have, even if they're closing at like 8 o'clock. If you want to enjoy Magic Kingdom during the day and they have a party at night, that's the best time to go, because locals like us usually don't really want to go in and not be able to hang out for the evening, and a lot of the tourists won't go if they don't have party tickets. So really nice sweet hours from like noon to like 5 or 7, whatever the party starts, because a lot of people either came in the morning and they're leaving, or they're not coming in for the party until like 5, 6, whenever they allow them to come in, usually about 5 o'clock. So it's a nice kind of quiet time that you can actually enjoy the rides and get on some stuff faster on party days. So there's a little tip there. So Disney being a reason is not a bad idea. It's a great idea. I'm just trying to, again, bring the reality of it that you can't go all the time. There are always going to be crowds. You're always going to have, weather issues. I mean, there's always times where it's either too cold, I'm not going in, or so we have Martin Luther King week coming up this week. So it's going to be busy. Then the next week is going to be busy is President's Day. So you get in this weird schedule where in Wisconsin, I could care less when all these vacations where I cared that my kids were off or not. Here, you have to kind of live by that, especially if you're someone like me or you want to be a content creator, because anything going in the park wise, you always have to think, oh, that's what's going on. Oh, that's the event that's happening. So you kind of get in a different mindset. So even just as a local going in, you have to remember the holidays and whatnot, because it's just how it is. It's just how you live here. And so it's a great thing to be for. And I know people look at my pictures on Facebook and on Instagram and they're just like, oh my gosh, she's doing this amazing stuff. I am. I really am. I love living here. I know I've given the impression in the past that I don't like living here. There's just like, there's certain factors. It's kind of one of those expressions I've heard where they say, it's not a bad life, it's just a bad day. And that's kind of where I'm getting to with Florida in general. Like, if I have a bad experience with a neighbor, if I had a bad day with weather, if it was too hot today, or it was crazy traffic, doesn't mean it's a bad life. It just means that it was a bad day. And overall, for myself, I have really enjoyed living here. There's just things there are factors that just that are very hard sometimes to overcome. And once you overcome them, you're like, oh, what was the big deal? You know, why was I so freaked out about it? So just remember that. Reasons for job, like I said, I'm really not the best help with that. I know that you can join every Facebook group under the sun that is in an area that you're interested in, because they post questions there all the time for who is hiring, what's going on in the neighborhood, why are there police in your neighborhood. I'm in a Four Corners group that is just full of information. So someone will be like, why is there a helicopter going over my neighborhood? Join those even before you move here, so you can kind of get the gist of, okay, this neighborhood's talked about a lot, and it seems like they have police a lot in this neighborhood. I'm going to avoid that suburb. So it's definitely worth doing, even if you join 10 groups and you just wound up, obviously you're moving to one. So let me see the other reasons I had. Family never to complain. It's always amazing to have family here and have those connections here. And yes, I have my Hershey shirt on. I went to the Hershey Park, chocolate park. Let's see, a year and a half ago on my road trip. Definitely, if you're sick of where you are, if that's a reason and you just need something new, you can absolutely do that anywhere across the United States, if not the world. The great thing about Florida is obviously if you do love Disney, you can combine those two. It's a great thing. You've obviously got Universal, you've got SeaWorld, you've got Busch Gardens, you have, oh my gosh, you have everything from the little stuff like Old Town, and, you know, you've got the little kind of weird, funky stuff. Then you've got 192 stuff, and there's never nothing to do here, just so you know. But that being said, also, you have to keep in mind the money that you're gonna have to live here. That's a whole other vlog, but just keep that in mind. The no state income tax is a wonderful thing. It's nice to see Craig's paycheck go up when we got here. Now we do pay tolls like everyone else does on SunPass, or however you want to do it. So you still get kind of stuck, just not as much, but you still pay in a different way. And yeah, and warm weather. I'm going to definitely tell you guys that it has been getting hotter and hotter and hotter here. If this is a concern of yours, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe come down in August and stay for 2 weeks. So really get the full experience of what it's like sweating when you get in the shower, and then still sweating when you get out of the shower. And then when you're going to bed, you're still sweating. Yeah, it's true. True story. I mean, it is just nothing but buckets. And you get used to it here. Everybody does. Everyone's used to carrying water around during the summer. That's like the care package of Floridians, is always having water in your car, water in your purse. You get used to chafing really fast and not how to chafe. And you really have to work around it. You know, they say, the expression I always heard when I wanted to move here was, well, you don't shovel sunshine. And I love that, and I thought it was so awesome. I know there's some of you right now who are staring at that window and there's just piles of snow outside, and you're just like, what is she complaining about? I would give anything for the hot weather right now. You think that until you're in it, and then you just want to jump back in that snow pile. So just warning you guys, like, it's great for a while, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? So I've gotten used to it, but I will also tell you guys that I suffer from migraine headaches, and the humidity does not help. And the minute it starts to ramp up, I don't feel well for like a week. And the minute also it turns off, I'm like, wait, I feel so amazing. Like when we were, oh my gosh, when I was road tripping, when we were in Colorado, I felt amazing. There's a picture of me standing in Illinois at a rest stop with my eyes closed, just looking at the sky, because it just felt amazing. So you really have to get used to humidity, and it is a stinky thing here. Yes, you can have a swimming pool. Yes, you can cool down. And people are just like, well, you could, but don't fool yourself into thinking that you're just gonna want to be in that heat all the time. So up north, you have all the ick and the snow, whatever, and that keeps you inside. Well, down here, yes, you don't have to shovel anything, but the humidity still will sometimes keep you inside with the AC cranked. So it's a balance. It is really a balance thing, and what you really, the weather thing, as much and how great it is. And like right now, I'm sure, again, I saw, and when I see snow accidents and all that, I was in a really just unfortunate accident on, I believe it was 41 or 43 Milwaukee. And I spun my car out with the whole family. It was terrifying. A car hit us head on. It was so scary. That was definitely enough for me to want to encourage myself to come here, because I would never have to do that. But that being said, the traffic here is horrendous. So you could have that same exact car accident in a different way. Again, yin yang. So I just wanted to touch on the reasons today. I hope that some of this has made sense. I hope I don't sound like I've been drinking all day, because I haven't. It was just to give me some liquid courage, because this, like I said, is where I started, and I really do enjoy talking about relocating. People still message me almost probably once a week, if not more, just about questions about moving there. It hasn't been my forte in a while. That's why it's fun to not only read the blog posts out loud with you guys and revisit these. I hope also that it encourages a lot of you to go read about my journey and how crazy it's been. It's so much drama, and like, people don't believe me. I could write a book. I did write a book. That's a whole drama thing. So I'm just really super excited to take you guys on this journey and to explore once again the sanity and insanity of moving to Florida, and not only how it went for us, but also what I can help you with and how maybe I can save you guys some of that stress. So I hope this has helped. I will see you guys next Monday on Moving Mondays. I could like move something, like move and shake it. And yeah, I'm really excited. I hope you guys will join me. Have a phenomenal day. Bye.